5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The pit stop is vital to every race team's success. Pull off the track, let your team go to work.
Outside, clear.
Change all 4 tires, fill the fuel cell, and make needed adjustments, all in 8 seconds or less.
Hey. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter what time you're watching the program, no matter where in the world you're watching or listening. Thank you so much. The pits are open. I'm your host, Will Marotti, Alex Smith, our producer and engineer, and we're glad to be with you. Welcome to the Speed Sport One family. How you guys doing tonight? It's wonderful to be with you. You might be watching as a recorded piece on YouTube or some other channel. If you are on YouTube, we really would appreciate YouTube if you would like and subscribe. Helps us with our numbers, and we're good for that. And then if you're on Spotify, if you're listening as a podcast, please follow us. We'd love to have you follow us on Spotify. Also, I do want to ask you to go to our website, thepitsareopen.com. And when you do, you'll notice at the top of the page, there's a little banner there. Click on that, and it'll take you right into our sign up for our weekly newsletter, which just went out this week. And it's a once a week thing. We don't bombard you with all kinds of stuff. It's just a newsletter and has some great racing news, courtesy of Speed Sport, and also gives you a preview of the show. So you're watching tonight, you maybe got the newsletter and saw who our guests are going to be, and I'm glad that you're here. Great. I don't know if great even adequately describes what happened in Arlington, Texas over the weekend. What a tremendous first-time street race there for IndyCar. And boy, hats off to the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Jerry Jones and company, that place was booming. It was jammed. It was exciting. Tons of energy. It was a great race. Fabulous. And I guess good viewership too. I think the overnight ratings were really strong. 1.3, 1.4 million. So we've had a great opening between St. Pete, Phoenix, and now Arlington. Over 1 million every time for TV views. Fox is doing a tremendous job. Fox Broadcasting. Can't say enough about it. The only thing I was down about with that Arlington race, well, 2 things. I wanted to see Santino do better. Ferrucci did not quite perform as well as we had hoped. And Marcus Ericsson, I felt bad for Marcus. Marcus, first pole in 13 years for him. And I really was pulling for Marcus Ericsson. I'm not unhappy how it turned out. Kyle Kirkwood was fast all weekend and showed to be the class of the field, and put a sweet move on Alex Palou to take the lead. Alex finished second, which is fine. So, we're not at all unhappy with that. But it was a good race, and it was they had to move it up because of weather concerns, which happens. It's not a big deal, not a big problem. But we're very happy the way that turned out. And then on the Indy next side, Max Taylor won, and quite handily, as a matter of fact. Almost 2-second victory over Enzo Fittipaldi. So the Fittipaldi name reemerges, and Enzo did a great job, second place. The juggernaut HMD Motorsports, they are something. I mean, when it comes to Indy next, the HMD's got it. They're fielding all kinds of cars for different teams. They're fielding cars for the Cusick Motorsports group. They're fielding teams for AJ Foyt. It's pretty impressive, but it was fun. It was fun to watch that race go by Ranger Stadium and go by AT&T Stadium, the Cowboy home. That was pretty cool. Pretty exciting. So good start for the IndyCar season, and things are looking good. Next race up at the end of the month at one of my favorite tracks in America is Barber Motorsports Park, and Mr. Barber just passed away not too long ago. We lost him, but great track, great race. So looking forward to that as well. I want to encourage you, if you're interested in the business of motorsports and you're interested in growing motorsports, I want to encourage you to check out my LinkedIn page. It's just Will Marotti, LinkedIn. I've been publishing a series of articles there having to do with the business of motorsports and having to do really with the driver behind what we're planning to launch, which is called Speedway Venture Studio. We hope to have the app out in a couple of weeks. SVS Insiders. It's going to be the portal for information to Speedway Venture Studio. Going to have a lot of good features. You're going to have a regular video from me as the founder. We're going to invite you to join in on Zoom calls. We're going to invite you for teleconferencing with industry leaders and sponsorship people, things that you're not going to find. These will be private videos. They won't be available on YouTube. You'll have to go to SVS Insiders to get this information. But we really want to help change the business of racing. We want to make it more of a meritocracy and less of a capital sport. I mean, it's always been a capital sport, but we want to get the best drivers out there and the best teams out there. We want to help you with funding, and that's what we're looking for with the Venture Studio. But I do have to say there's a little bit of a misnomer out there, misunderstood reality in motorsports having to do with the number of drivers seeking sponsorships and the number of companies offering sponsorships. And it's at every level, doesn't matter. Karting, midget, dirt track, sprint car, Silver Crown, NASCAR, ARCA, Indy Next, IndyCar. There's just a lot of time and energy spent seeking funding by drivers, by teams. And the assumption that's made by many outside the sport is that there's plentiful sponsors. They just don't know about the drivers of the teams. And the reality is much different. The reality is there's far more drivers and teams seeking sponsorships than there are businesses that are looking to sponsor them. And it was stated very well in a study that came out. It says academic research supports what industry insiders already know intuitively. Motorsports is a pay-to-play environment in which the sponsorship is essential for career progression, creating a marketplace where driver demand for funding far exceeds the number of sponsors actively willing to sponsor. And I've got that article out in my LinkedIn page if you'd want to go read that. The title of it's Why More Drivers are Looking for Sponsors Than Sponsors Are Looking for Drivers. And it's just the reality of the sport. It's not a secret. And so I want to encourage you to check out our LinkedIn page, my LinkedIn page, to be able to do that. And then also, again, go to our website, pitsareopen.com, sign up for our weekly newsletter. Oddly enough, the same name, Pits Are Open, and you'll get that. All right. Our first guest, she's been on before, very excited. In fact, I haven't told this yet, but I think we need her services. Erica Sietsma is the founder, CEO of Autofluencer, a creator economy platform tailored to automotive and enthusiast industries. She's got more than 20 years in the industry, and I think what she's doing is very cool and very neat, and I'm glad to welcome her back. Erica, thank you for coming back. Welcome.
Hello. Oh, I'm very close. I was like, oh man, hey, close up.
Don't have to have my glasses
40. You don't need those close-ups. So
yeah.
Hi.
How are you? How you doing? Been a while.
Good.
Been a minute.
We were like ships in the night at PRI.
I know. I want to get you on the show, and we never really connected. So I'm glad you accepted this. How are things going, and how are things at Autofluencer?
Good.
Yeah.
We are. I don't know if you've seen some of the announcements. So we brought on, who I believe she's been on too, Megan Meyer.
Yep. We talked about it at PRI. She talked about joining forces. Yeah.
Yeah. So she joined as our head of creator and motorsport strategy, which has been really helpful. The grind of kind of running her own kind of coaching in this very one-to-one, like it was a thing that couldn't scale what she'd been doing previously.
Right.
And for me, she'd been our best user, hands down, just in it. She's so type A, but really helpful for us because she can kind of help strategize that whole side. She already has a list of features she wants us to build. So we are starting on that. We actually just started kind of sneak peeking and announcing our premium creator subscriptions where there'll still always be a free version. But now creators can upgrade. We're doing some special pricing. We like to joke we're building the car while we're racing it. So as you get in, like features will just appear like, well, this is new. Like, and so with our proper launch going to be late May, then we'll have like multiple packages and different feature sets, and things will be kind of more locked down by that point. But so that's been good. So we started getting some creators. I mean, we had about 500 racer/creator users already.
Wow.
But
that's enormous. That's wonderful.
And not all of them were active, right? Like I think a lot kind of signed up in the early days, and then we didn't have anything for them to be able to do. So they're like, this sucks, like, unless they were in a brand's campaign and could see their data. And then kind of late last summer, we rolled out the reporting for, what were you going to say?
That's my phone going off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Alex is looking at me and going, "What's that noise?"
I know. You can never keep those hosts in check. And so, but late last summer, we like rolled out reporting for creators so they could do what the brands do. So if they had a brand partner that wasn't using Autofluencer, they could build a sponsor report, show them the value. We had a lot that used that actually at the end of last year for renegotiations for this current year, whether it was leveraging. I have a great story of someone, I won't name names of brands or people, but actually at SEMA, we had printed reports for a lot of brands who were just kind of like our dream clients. We know they have big programs. From what we could tell from their partners, they weren't tracking or weren't being told they were being tracked because numbers had never been brought up. And so one of our, a good friend he's more on the create builder side. And I said, hey, you were at the top of this report for this brand. Will you take it over and give it to someone over there or introduce us to someone at this brand? And he was like, oh, heck yeah. Because it showed he had like 80,000 in earned media value for them for just a few posts. Like he had just kind of started working with them the last quarter. And he went over there and he started talking to them, and they were like, oh yeah, well, the tool we use, we had 120 grand. He's like, and you never told me? Like they were not going to share that data.
Wow.
So like anything, what we have found.
Oh my gosh.
If that brand's listening, they know.
I mean, that's hard. That's hard to understand. I mean, why would you not? Why would you not want to share it with it?
I think if they only share it when it's low. I mean, they're not going to necessarily be like, oh yeah, you're providing a lot more value than we thought you would. You know what I mean? Like, so
it's not unlike the car game, is it, Eric? It's not unlike the car game. I mean, we play these games in dealerships. It's not unlike that.
It's not unlike that at all.
Hey, hang on for 1 second, please. We're gonna take a break, and we got a lot to talk about, and I want to get it all in. So, folks, we'll be right back. Don't go away. Stay with us, especially Speed Sport folks. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment is brought to you by America's Christian Credit Union. If you want your money working for you without stepping away from your values, this is worth a serious look. Right now, America's Christian Credit Union is offering a 12-month certificate at 4.5%. That's one of the highest rates in the nation, and it's all available for a limited time to new members only. You can open with as little as $1,000 or invest up to $1 million. It's a term share certificate, similar to a CD, but grounded in mission and stewardship. Lock in the rate while it's available. Visit americaschristiancu.com/pits to get started.
All right. Hey, welcome back to Pits Are Open. Our special guest today, Erica Sietsma. She is the CEO of Autofluencer. Erica, let's take a step back. For the folks that haven't seen you before, give us a kind of just a quick overview of the genesis of Autofluencer and the purpose behind it. Go ahead.
So the purpose behind Autofluencer, we like to say we help brands manage and measure their sponsorship and influencer programs. And we're two-sided though. So then inversely, it's not just manufacturers or brands. We have agency clients. We have race teams as partners. We have, individual racers, individual builders that use our tool. So it's really on any side of the industry. We have an event series that uses our tool to manage and measure for their sponsors at the events. And so no matter what side of the industry you're on, we have a solution for you to help you manage and measure. Some are more built out than others. So that we started on the manufacturer side, the brand side, to be able to manage and measure, because they might, one of our clients has 270 racers in their sponsor program that they're tracking. And that goes from the 25% racer discount to the full no charge program. whereas other brands might have 10, 10 medium to larger influencers that they work with, right? That they're really partnered for content creation. So really varies. So we've built out the most there. And then now we're rolling out the kind of the individual racer creator side. Agencies, teams, and events, they all function kind of on the brand side. They function very much like a brand. They can have multiple campaigns, attach multiple people to it and track that way. But as we continue to iterate, we'll start adding more kind of not vertical specific, but like function specific. So for like a race team, our goal by the end of the year is that they would be able to have it where it's one entity with attached drivers. And so when a brand goes to add them, like if they sign up into someone's sponsor program or they go to apply to a sponsorship program that's through Autofluencer, they're just applying as one team and they can associate those racers already associated to their team. And that way the brand can track all of the entities associated with that team without throwing off their numbers. Like, we have 100 teams in program, but then they have like 60 random racer profile, right?
Sure,
like trying to keep kind of the numbers, because now we're getting used a lot. In the beginning, it was all about the measurement, right? I mean, everybody was like, whoa, because social measurement, and we focus on social. So that's important, right? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, we're social focused. So for streaming, for linear TV, we don't focus on that. There are tools out there to focus on that if you need that kind of level of support. They're very expensive. So we're able to come in for those that are like, well, because TV coverage is really hard to guess. But if you're dropping millions upon millions in sponsorships, then you should have a tool that helps you kind of.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, that's why we're so grateful to be part of the Speed Sport family, because we get on Speed Sport 1, which is on all of the fast channels, right? So Roku, Amazon Prime, Sling, and we magnify our exposure based on the fact that we're on Speed Sport 1. So let me give you a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a hypothetical. What about a media company that is a creator company and only has maybe 4 or 5 sponsors? Is that a company that Autofluencer could help, could monitor, could produce reports?
Reporting, yeah. I mean, and again, focus being on social, and for a sponsor, because more than likely you're able to get analytics as far as streaming and from the media side, but from the social side, how we look at it and how all brands think about it too. And this is where there is a misconception on where value lies in your social media. If we'll take the Christian Credit Union that was just on. Let's say your team does 10 posts a week. I mean, this media company does 10 posts a week. The Christian Credit Union, they do not care about 80% of those posts. They only really care about the ones where you talk about them.
Yeah.
That's what I care about, right? If I'm the brand, I care about those.
That's about me.
I don't care that all your content got 50 million views this year.
Right.
I just want to know, okay, but the ones I'm in, what were those views? What were those engagements? Anybody can tell me, it's great you had a new baby or a new grandkid this year. That's awesome. But unless they were in a onesie with my brand's name on it, I don't care. Unless you're thanking us for funding that baby. I don't care.
Right.
And so, it's got to be really specific. You want to track for those sponsors. And that's where the difficulty comes in. Anybody can run a report and pull out of your 4 social sites your performance for last year all in, right? That's easy peasy.
Right.
But being able to know of those 150 posts last year, those 300 posts, those 600 posts, depending on who you are, how many were for those sponsors? And what was the performance of just those posts? Right. And so then that's where the real value comes in, because that is difficult. Even going through your own socials, they don't make it easy, especially if you cross post and not just Meta. And I would always say, don't put all your eggs in the Meta basket.
Right.
You want to leverage YouTube Shorts. You want to leverage TikTok.
Sure.
Now nobody really can have a huge argument against TikTok outside, because people used to be like, oh, China. I'm like, well, now it's in the US. You can't really say like,
right.
But so you've got to kind of, if you're going to be on there and even have a profile, then you need to post to it.
We finally caved in. I mean, I wouldn't use TikTok for the longest time for that reason.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, it's embarrassing to say, but we get sometimes more views on TikToks than we get on other platforms. So you have to include it. Yeah.
And it's interesting. TikTok's having a moment right now, just in the sense that, I mean, it depends on what side you're on and who you hear from. Hardcore TikTok users are hating it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just not the same. They lost a lot of the high, kind of the more creative, like a lot of people left the platform, but a new infusion. So for a new brand there, you can get a lot of traction quick because they are short on content. Right?
Yeah, I have no complaints.
They're short on content. So we're seeing a lot of movement with TikTok posts. We're seeing a lot of movement with TikTok engagement. Historically, TikTok's not the best converter.
Mm-hmm.
That audience is when you're in your TikTok mode. Instagram is very similar though too. I mean, when you're in the sites that make it hard to leave the site, you tend to not see people leave the site, right? So, but I always tell people, social media is top. When you're working with creators, when you're working with media brand, that is top funnel awareness.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That is top funnel. Don't be looking for no conversions, right? I'd even say with the credit union, hey, that's cute that you put a little affiliate link, that's cute. Mm-hmm. But being on here is top funnel because, if pits are open, this is your audience, right? There's a good chance your audience aligns with their audience and they are getting this kind of access to your audience. Mm-hmm. The cool by association.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and without giving away trade secrets, and so if this is a dumb question, just shut me down. Can you give kind of an overview of how do you? I'm not understanding. How do you do that? How do you track the social for creators to produce the reports for brands? How do you?
Yeah, it's not a trade secret. This is kind of how everybody in the space does it. So there's nothing really unique to it outside of the pain. And this is something I will say. Some people are like, oh, I could just build this in AI. I'm like, actually, you can't, because if you try to get AI and you ask any of the AI models to scrape somebody's social page, they will come back and say they're not allowed to scrape social.
Okay.
So you can't use it for that. You can use it to come up with ideas for social. You could take all your data out and have it analyze your data. Mm-hmm. Just know, unless you're really good at prompting AI, it can get bad with math quick. But basically how it works is, we pull in. So as soon as a creator gets associated to a brand campaign, let's say, we start to pull down, let's say someone adds you guys, right? Someone might be tracking you and they add all your social profiles. The second they add you, we start pulling all of your posts back to the start date of that campaign. So if it was February 1st, we start pulling all of your posts across all social networks that you have that are publicly available. So you have to have fully publicly available. Yep. If you're on a quirky old personal Facebook page, we can't pull that. So we pull in all the posts, and then what we do is each of our campaigns, whether it's a brand or a creator-created personal campaign, we have keywords that we're looking for in the caption of the post. So we look at the caption and we're looking for those keywords. We can also pull if people, this is a very meta-specific thing. Mm-hmm. Do this in the other networks, but secret tags where you tag someone, collaborator tags. So those don't have as high of a value as being mentioned in the caption of the post, but that's basically how it works. And, so it's pretty straightforward. And the caption or the keyword can be an at mention. It can be a hashtag, or it doesn't have to be.
But it could be either or. It could be hashtag or an actual.
Or it could just be the word, right? If the word is, pits are open, all three words, we can look for that. All three words in a string, exactly, pits are open. That has the keyword in it. We'll stick it in.
That's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah. All right, listen, we got to take another break. Speaking of sponsors, another break. See? So don't go away. We've got more with Erica, and we've got a lot more of the show to come on. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
This segment is brought to you by Redline Ace. In racing, image isn't extra. It's part of the competition. Redline Ace understands that, and they build visuals that command attention the moment you roll onto the track. Located just minutes from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Speedway, Indiana, Redline Ace specializes in high-performance motorsports graphics trusted across every level of competition. From custom car wraps and full-team branding to helmets, haulers, hero cards, and more, they make sure your presence matches your performance. See the difference for yourself at redlineace.com and find out why champions trust Redline Ace to keep their image in victory lane.
All right, welcome back, Pits Are Open. Our guest, Erica Sietsma. Now, Erica, let's talk to young drivers because this is where kind of our focus is to try to help and educate. Let's talk to younger drivers, smaller teams.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for them to be able to produce data on what they're doing for their brands, for their sponsors?
It is, I would say, one of the most important things they can do as a smaller driver, as a smaller team. If you're not out there podiuming every weekend, it is real hard to be like, yo, work with me. I'm the coolest. I'm the best, man. I'm going to I'm going to get, that's the only way you can guarantee other media coverage is if someone's media. And if they're in a smaller series, they're not getting any media coverage anyways. Right. Maybe random streaming that 1,000 people, and so really social media is your way and to kind of show, hey, I'm doing all of this for you. And your reporting is a way of showing that so that you don't, and this is a big thing. And you were kind of talking about it a little bit before I even got on, but this idea that brands have all this money to give and, it is not that they are being mean or they're overlooking. They really don't have the funding. And it's amazing some that still do the levels of sponsorships that they do with the ownership that they have of private equity. Because a lot of times sponsorships can be one of the first things to go unless you happen to luck out and have a CEO who can really explain that to the bean counters, why it's so important. Right. And, and it's hard for them to wrap their head around, even just kind of on the product giveaways. But like, how is this help? And so when you can put data in front of them so that those people don't have to go run around and figure it out, those marketers, they don't have these large, even big companies that you think are really big, don't actually have very big marketing teams. And they don't, always, they're kind of guessing. So if you can put data in their hands and make their lives easier and say, hey, look at what I did for you, look at this earned media value, or look at just even the number of posts. You asked me to do 5, I did 25.
Yeah, right.
Where I at least mentioned you. It may not be 25 all about the brand, and that will make you stand out because a lot of the big guys don't even do that. Right.
I can't say who this is, but I'll never forget. We talked with a major multi-billion-dollar brand a few years ago. I had a driver with me. I had 2 people from a sports marketing agency with me, and we were convinced that this is a great deal, and they were going to do it. And so we presented, and their CMO was there, the brand manager was there, a couple other people were there. And I was watching as I turned it over to the sports marketing guys. I said, you do the presentation, right? Because you're the professionals. And I'm watching, and I'm very sensitive to people and how they respond. I'm saying, this is not impressing anybody in this room. Nothing we're saying is doing anything at all, right? So we got done. It was pleasant and everything. 10 days later, the brand manager called me, and here's what they said. I'll never forget it. They said, we spent, I won't say the number, millions of dollars in I won't say the series, a series that they're not in anymore, and they're still trying to figure out why.
Right.
And we didn't answer the question of why they should do it again. And so they passed on us.
Yeah.
I think there's this basic misunderstanding of how business works.
Yeah.
If you can't ROI this thing, then your chances of getting it in this world, in this economy, in this era are slim. So I think everything you can do to show measurable ROI is important. That's why I'm so impressed with what you're doing.
And we make it so easy. I mean, like Megan used to do it manually. I mean, she was like next, like
she's a genius though.
And it would be like, and she would tell me, and I'm like, wait, what? It'll still boggle my mind. I'll talk to a brand, and
she's so hardworking though. I mean,
and some brands that they have who that person's job is to go out and manually look all this stuff up. I'm like, that is going to be the worst job in the world.
Horrible.
Like, how terrible. And what a waste of money for that person to be doing that when there's 8 million other things they could be helping with, which is, I think the rule of thumb is like, if you can automate it, don't give that job to a person.
Right.
Because they're not going to be happy in that job, and they're going to be looking, and some people are scared to ask for something different. And so they'll just look somewhere else and eventually leave because you're making them do it so painfully manual.
So hard. Well, listen, we need to talk offline because I really have some ideas. I want your input
for sure.
And I want to know is there a way that we can utilize what Auto Influencer is doing, because we need, again, as we need all the help we can get to show ROI. So, hey, thank you so much for coming on. Great to see you again. Continued success, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Talk to you.
Oh, okay. Erica Sietsma, everybody. Hey, listen, we're going to take a break, and then we'll be on with our next guest, another industry powerhouse. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by Schaefer Manufacturing. Schaefer Oil. When performance is non-negotiable and equipment is pushed to the edge, Schaefer shines. This is protection that shows up when things get pushed to their limit. Their advanced lubrication technology reduces friction, runs cleaner, lasts longer, and it helps prevent the kind of breakdowns that cost time, money, and momentum. That's why professionals in trucking, farming, and racing trust Schaefer. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just performance that holds up. Learn more at schaeferoil.com.
All right, welcome back. Pits are up. Sorry, we cut Erica off there short. Sorry about that. We love Erica. Thank her so much. We're excited. First time guest coming on, and I really like what they do and how they're doing it. Mark Boudreau is the president, founder of Motorsport Prospects. He's an attorney by trade, and he's got some great ideas and some great things that he's moving forward. And so we want to welcome Mark for the first time on Pits Are Open. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for having me on.
So we talked a little offline, so I have a sense of what you do with Motorsport Prospects. Help me again understand. You're an attorney. How did you go from your law practice and what you do there to having a passion for motorsports and what you're doing now as well? How did that all develop?
Well, it all started with the fact that I was always a huge motorsport fan. Never wanted to be a driver, ironically enough, but I was always interested in the business of the sport. So, of course, with lawyers, our big thing is due diligence. Always looking in to see if people who are who they say they are. And I realized that initially talking to parents at the track, whose kids were racing, I would ask them, how did you determine, where you placed your daughter in this race team? How did you come up with that decision? And I was kind of surprised with some of their answers in that, they won the championship last year. They had a cool website, met the team owner, seemed like a cool person. Yeah. And I thought, okay. And I said, let's turn the tables a little bit. Your daughter wants to be an architect. What would you do in order to determine where she will go to school? And then the answer was, well, we would research the top architecture schools. We'd go and visit some of them, research scholarships, do all of this due diligence before making a decision. And I said, it's ironic that you do all that work for the university part. You're probably going to spend more money on the motorsport part, and yet you do almost zero research due diligence on that decision.
That's baffling, isn't it? Wow.
It is. It is an odd, but let's remember also, though, that motorsport and sports generally are a very exciting, glamorous kind of thing. Yeah. People sometimes, their emotions get the best of them, and they don't really sit there and think through what they need to do, which is why I always joke and say that's what lawyers do. Lawyers are there to ask the uncomfortable questions. Right. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll put together a directory of motorsport professionals and teams, and it'll help them do their research. Things have expanded since then. Essentially, the mission of Motorsport Prospects is to connect drivers with motorsport professionals. Okay. And we've worked out to build this massive database of anybody from driver coaches, sponsorship consultants, management teams, physical conditioning coaches, mental, all of that ecosystem that any driver, and I'm not just talking about the aspiring drivers, I'm talking about independent drivers who, are racing for passion, but unfortunately, a lot of times teams and professionals look at their wallet first and foremost, and they might not be sure who to trust. So interestingly enough, on May 4th, we're relaunching the directory with a new feature called Verified by Motorsport Prospects. And that's the lawyer part of me. That's where professionals have to apply. We do due diligence on their application. We look into basically ensure that they are who they say they are. And then they'll be verified by Motorsport Prospects, which means they are a true motorsport professional, somebody who we think you can trust. And then, of course, the decision is up to the driver whether they want to, do business with them. But at least they have a bit of a leg up. They understand who these people are, and the professionals appreciate it because they want to be known as professionals. And sometimes, let's just say sometimes the pool of professionals is diluted slightly by people who are not necessarily who they say they are and don't bring the professional services that, drivers require. Sure. So this is a way to differentiate the two.
It's so funny you bring that up because years ago we started out, our team, Mirati Autosport, only 10 years old. Actually, it's our 10th anniversary this year. We got involved with a deal that, it wasn't a lot, but it was a lot at the time for us, and we didn't paper it. It was a handshake deal, and it went bad. And so I felt like we were in the right, but at the same time, I didn't want bad publicity. I didn't want bad, people speaking badly of the team. So went to my partner, explained what happened, and we ended up settling it just to make it go away and not have any bad feelings about it. And at that point, he said to me, "Don't you ever do anything again like this without running it by a lawyer first." So I learned my lesson the hard way there, but you have to. It has to be done properly, and you're crazy if you're doing anything and not involving an attorney. That's how I feel.
Well, I always say that everybody hates a lawyer until they need one. And, and contracts, to be honest with you, when things are going great, contracts are almost unnecessary. The problem is things don't always go great. And when they don't, in your example, that's when you need a contract that has very specific provisions on how to deal with any disputes. Often it's, people are not sure who's supposed to do what. Right. Oh, I thought you were supposed to do that for me. No. I never said I was going to do that. Contract makes it clear who's responsible for what. Everybody understands what's going on. The initial investment, and it is everything you do in motorsport is an investment. Sure. The initial investment will pay dividends in the end because it'll prevent you from paying even more that you might not have anticipated. We see that with drivers where they sign, again, the excitement, of being, maybe signed to a race team. They're not quite sure what they signed, but they just want to get in the car and race. And then it turns out that later on, maybe they might have signed away some significant intellectual property or contractual rights, sponsorship rights, whatever that may be, that they might have needed going forward after that, that period of racing with that team's over. So look, I think it's critical that that as a driver, you invest in the right team and not just that team you're racing for. So Motorsport Prospects is all about that ecosystem. Insurance, something nobody likes to talk about, but that's critical for your career. So you want to be with the proper motorsport insurance professionals. Management, if you are going to go to get management, you want the right people who know what they're doing. And lawyers, motorsport is a very specific niche. Yes, and the contracts are very specific to the industry, and there's a lot of things like sponsor relationships and signage and intellectual property and damage and all these kind of things that are very specific. So you do want a motorsport lawyer that's familiar with motorsport. I
Right.
mean, you know, that's key. That's key as well. So, you know, that we have those in the directory.
Wow. All right. Mark Boudreau is our guest with Motorsport Prospects. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back and more with Mark. And we got a lot of questions for him. So don't go away. We've got a lot to talk about.
This segment is brought to you by Speed Sport and Speed Sport One. If you live for racing, Speed Sport is where the conversation starts. From breaking news to exciting feature coverage of the biggest events across the country. They don't just report results, they tell the story behind them. IndyCar, NASCAR, dirt track, drag racing, and more. The headlines, highlights, and the rivalries. Speed Sport keeps you locked in all year long. Don't just follow racing, stay ahead of it. Visit speedsport.com, tune in to Speed Sport One, or head to speedsport1.com. Your home for everything racing.
Hey, welcome back. Pits are open. Your host, Will Marotti. Good guest, first-time guest, Mark Boudreau is on with us. He is the founder, president of Motorsport Prospect. And, you know, Mark, one of the things that we're trying to do, and we talked a little bit about this offline, we founded a group called Speedway Venture Studio. It's really targeted to help younger drivers, younger teams, smaller teams, as they're starting out, not make the same mistakes that a lot of us have made over time. And one of the things I'm so excited about with you, we're looking for vendors to recommend people to be able to help with problems. And this is so good because you want to be able to talk to people that are professional, that are skilled, that are experienced. And it looks like that's exactly what you formed with this directory. So talk to a young driver just getting started. Talk to a team. They're gonna break out on their own. They're gonna try to field a car, 2-car. What are some of the early building blocks that you would recommend to them to protect their team, their business, their assets, their reputation? Talk to them about that for a few moments.
Well, it all boils down to trust. You know, the people that you want to engage with, so the advisors that you want to use, you want to make sure that you can trust them. Now, everybody will think that, well, you know, he's a lawyer. I would assume I can trust him. I would assume so as well. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, you can't. So the number one piece of advice I would give is choose your advisors carefully. Mm-hmm. And ask questions. Ask them questions. People are so afraid to ask very basic questions.
Sure.
You know, Will, you say about racing. Well, how is that? What is your background? And then it gives you the opportunity to explain it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes very simple questions. If the person is very reticent about answering, not quite sure what to say, that should set some red flags. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to go with the first person that you meet. Mm-hmm. You don't have to sign with the first race team that approaches you or that you approach. So that's the first thing. Trust. You need to trust. The second thing is really important is how do you actually get along with these people? Do you actually connect? Now, you don't have to be buddies, right? But a perfect example, a young driver, I always say, don't ever sign a full season until you've had a chance to test with the team. And one of the reasons for that is you get to meet, for example, the engineer. How do you communicate with the engineer? How do you connect with that engineer? Drivers are all different. Some are very mechanical, some are not. Some talk in feelings, some are very data driven. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different ways that they communicate. Same with an engineer. Sometimes that communication doesn't work. And if it doesn't work now, it's not going to work throughout the season. And
I tell people years ago, if dating is hard now, the marriage probably isn't going to work well. If dating doesn't work, it's not going to happen down the road.
Perfect analogy. So you get to know these people. Same with the lawyer. Same with the motorsport insurance. If they're explaining insurance, do you understand what they're explaining? Mm-hmm. How much it's going to cost? And if you don't, please ask questions. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to think you're dumb or anything like that. You need to know this is your money. This is your career. This is your team. Ask the questions that need to be asked. And anybody who's hesitating about answering them, I would definitely take a step back and think, is this really the right person that I want to work with? And then the third thing would be ask around, ask other people. Hey, I'm talking to Mark Boudreau from Motorsport Prospects. Does he know what he's talking about? Is he legit? Is he a pro? Does he give good advice? And, hopefully the answer will be absolutely on all of them. But, that's what you want to do. And you want to talk to people that you respect. Will says that, yeah, Mark knows what he's doing. Good guy. Okay, good. I respect Will. If Will thinks he's a good guy, then that says a lot.
Sure.
So those are the things that you need to ask. Those are the questions that you need. And then, you get into all the details about what you need to get out of them. But you really want to be able to trust them. You really want to be able to work with them, and you want to be able to. You want to make sure that they're respected in the industry.
Well, and I think research plays a big part in that. I mean, we both have programs. You have a podcast. We have a show. We both research people that we're going to talk to. We don't just have anybody come on the program, because you want to know who they are. You want to know that they're respected, they're trustworthy. And I think as a young driver, small team, I think you got to research the folks. Now research is easy. I mean, you can go on AI and pull up a 200-word profile on somebody in 30 seconds and at least get a sense of who you're working with, or if there's something out there you should know about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, a good lawyer will always say, they'll always give a free 30-minute consultation. My podcast, I talk to all kinds of motorsport professionals, and that's the idea, is to give that free 15 to 20 minutes nugget of information that a driver could use. Absolutely free, but then they get something out of that. And then from there, they can, build on their research. But you're right, researching, that's what Motorsport Prospects is. It's a way for you to research these professionals and find out who they are, what they do, and, does it make sense to work with them?
So whether you are a coach, whether you are a marketing person, a sponsorship person, a attorney, people will be able to go to Motorsport Prospects, and the people that you have listed are people that you've checked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not just paying a fee and you're sticking them on there no matter what.
No, and that's the interesting
that you know about.
Right. So May 4th, we're launching the Verified by Motorsport Prospects. You actually have to apply.
Okay.
You have to apply to be verified. I'll do the due diligence and make sure that you are who you are. And then you'll get accepted into the program to be verified. We do have free listings that are unverified, but they're very basic. They're for the sake of completeness. But the verified professionals are the ones that we feature, the ones that we work with, the ones that we recommend to drivers to work with. They're the ones that are on the podcast as well. And look, if for whatever reason we decide that you're not yet at that point where we can verify you for whatever reason, we will give constructive feedback. This is what I think you need to do. I think you need to build a bit more of a client base. I think you need to get certified by maybe this organization. These couple of things you need to do. Come back in 6 months, reapply. And if you've done all that, you should be in good shape. But the people that are verified and that will, like I said, we'll launch it on May 4th, they want to know that the other people that are verified are professionals just like them.
Wow. That's so helpful. I mean, it's such a maze, and again, motorsports for years has had kind of a not stellar reputation. People
bit of a Shark Tank.
It has been, and teams stealing sponsors. This not going right. People not honoring commitments and obligations. So and it's better. It's better now than it's been in the past. Back in the day. But it's wonderful to be able to have a resource where you can actually go and say, okay, this is a person who I could trust. This person I could talk to. I think it's wonderful.
And also every day, 5 days of the week, there's a blog that every day it's a different feature. So for example, Mondays is always about driver development.
Okay.
Anything that's happening in the last week in driver development, scholarship programs, new development programs, advice on developing your career. That's all covered on Mondays. I curate information from all around the world. Tuesdays is about motorsport sponsorship. Wednesdays it's about racecraft. Sim racing. I have a column on sim racing, but not people that just like to sim race. It's about people that are interested in either transitioning to real world motorsport from sim racing, or or racers that use sim racing as a way to build on their racecraft.
Mark, how do people get at this blog? Where is this blog found?
Everything is at motorsportprospects.com.
Okay.
And so it's all in there, the directory, the blog, as well as the podcast.
Well, listen, I hate to say it, we're out of time. I'd love to have you back on. I have more questions I want to get to, but
I appreciate it.
It is what it is. Mark Boudreau, President, Publisher, Motorsports Prospect, thank you so much for coming on the show, and best wishes in all your future endeavors.
Thanks so much, Will. It was great to be a guest. Thanks so much for the invite.
Great. You're welcome. Thank you. Hey, that's it for us. That's a wrap, folks. Good show today, Alex. Thank you. Thank you, Erica Sietsma, for coming on. And again, don't forget, go to our website, pitseropen.com, sign up for our newsletter. And we're on Thursdays, 6 p.m. on Speed Sport. Also, watch Speed Sport. Go to Speed Sport 1's website, because they now are replaying the program during the weekend as well. So if you missed out or you want to see something again, you can watch us again on the weekend. Check out speedsport1.com and look for the listings of when the Pits Are Open are going to be playing. Thank you so much. Great to be with you guys as always. Love you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.